Welcome, weird ways. This episode's going to be a little bit different to what I've normally done in the past, and that's why I'm excited to share this with you all because this episode is from a training I did inside the temple around money and building a relationship with money because I feel like this is such a powerful conversation to have. And I decided to post it over here on the podcast because I'm aware that not everyone on the podcast is connected to the temple community. And I wanted to invite you in to that space because this is a space I'm really deeply passionate about creating it right now. I'm going live in there most days. I'm sharing teachings. I'm sharing a live Q&A each week, and also these deeper teachings around different topics like money, business, relationship, alchemy, internal sense of self, and different things like that that can really help people step into their soul path and lead a life that they're really here for. So this episode is how you can build a healthy relationship with money, and it is definitely more of a training episode with some practices that can help build that relationship with money and some awareness that will help you relate to money in a different way. And this is something that I feel really called to at the moment because I've had a lot of conversations with people coming up to the launch of Amplify, which is going to be a 3-day training alongside a 3-month container happening in August. This is for soul aligned business people who are here to lead their lives, and think of it as like a mystery school cross a business container. So if that's of interest to you, you can actually find that in the link below, or I'm sharing a lot about that on social media right now. And it's going to be an experience where people are being called forth into their souls so they can serve the world more powerfully and more impactfully as well. And so with this conversation, there's been a lot around people's ability to create money and have a relationship with money. And this is something that I continue to build over time. And it's something that I think the more we can come into relationship with money, the more we can see it as a tool to help us grow and live the paths that we're here to live. I've invested, I feel like I calculated at this point the other day, over 50 grand into my personal development. It's probably a little bit more than that now. And it was like that awareness of my investment, both on the financial and physical and time level, has really allowed me to grow and expand to get to where I am. And it's something I deeply believe in. But it can be a pattern where people do it unconsciously without awareness of their current finances or the belief system that allows them to create more money, because a lot of people are closed from this idea that they can create more money and can feel quite stuck or stagnant, and they haven't considered different ideas or perspectives on how to create money. And so this is a conversation I'm going to continuously have because I know that there is so many blocks when it comes to money that relates to other areas of our lives. It could be around receivership, it could be around like feeling worthy of receiving money or even holding money. These are all conversations that can bring up our deeper wounded, where it's actually an invitation to return to self and come home to ourselves and maybe not try so hard, because there's a lot of condition where we need to try really hard with money to create it. So this conversation is going to be really impactful if you're wanting to build a healthy relationship with money and come back home to yourself. If you get a lot out of this episode, please like, subscribe, share this episode. It helps grow this podcast and also gets this information out to the people that need it so they can have healthy relationships with money and continue building from that space of embodiment and following their souls. So please share. It helps me grow this and it really lets me know what lands for you. If you get something that's an incredible takeaway, I'd love if you can share, tag me on Instagram. That also really supports this podcast. Righto, thank you. Welcome to the Weird Way. Let's get into the episode. Tell me, are you ready to find your weird way? Weird was a concept that was spoken of long ago. It meant fate, it meant destiny, it meant your path in life. I'm your host, Dean Bentley, and I am here to explore how you can connect to your own path in life, to know the essence of your own soul, to connect to that single spark that lives within the deepest recesses of your being that says, "This is why I am here, to go beyond the limitations, the constrictions of the modern world, and open you to the possibilities and the potentiality of what is possible within this world." Join me as we dive deep on the Wyrd way. Welcome, everyone. We are in for a fun. I don't know to call this an episode live. I was going to do this in front of a live audience, and we are not doing that. So I'm just going to make this recording, and this could end up in a course. You may just be watching this live on YouTube or something. And what we're going to be talking about is money and our relationship to money. This is something that has always had a deep curiosity for me of wanting to improve my own wealth level, wanting to create more, and learning how to build a healthy relationship with money. Because guess what? It's not something I've always had. And I view it as both an energetic and a strategic element within this, which is so important when we're looking to accumulate wealth or grow wealth or being able to create money in the first place. So there may be a couple episodes to this series because I feel like this is such a broad conversation in going from the strategic to the energetic. And I'm going to see how much of that I can cover in a clear and concise way today and just give you a lot to work with. And so the first point I want to make is money is a energy, and that is how I operate within the totality of this. Even when I'm dealing with structure, money is an energy, and that's what we want to be considering. Because like anything, if there is a stagnancy within ourselves, within the environment around us, well, we might notice a stagnancy within our relationship to money. If we're feeling really stuck and holden, what can actually happen is it can be like, oh, I just need to hold on. But what this does is create a very closed, energetic environment where we can't open to receiving money in different ways. So these are the sort of things I'm going to be looking at this episode to see, hey, what can we actually do to improve our relationship to money? And this is an individual process because of who you are, the conditioning you have, and the culture you've been a part of. You're going to have a level of relationship to money that's going to be different to me or anyone else. So there's a need for you to actually get to know this for yourself. If you apply my own blueprint, well, you're probably going to get different results because how I relate to it will be different because of my own experiences, my own healing with it, and the current stage of my own growth. You may be further, you may be not as far along as me, and that is all welcome. But it's this attunement to creating your individual relationship. And if we consider this, everything in life is a relationship and money is no different. So then how do we begin to build a healthy relationship with money? Because that's the ultimate question so many of us are striving for, right? We're looking for financial freedom. We're looking to create in a way that allows us to do a soul aligned business where we have the lifestyle we want and serve people for a lot of us. So then how do we begin to build a healthy relationship with money? Because this is something that's going to need to occur along the path towards mastery or towards a sense of self that is going to help grow you and expand you. So, firstly, like anything, if you want to build a healthy relationship with money, you need to begin spending time with it. You need to begin getting to know it and actually put in some work to build that relationship. And this can be in a number of ways. So, the first piece here is actually what is your current relationship with money? Are you just expecting money to show up in your relationship and you haven't been putting in any energy towards her? And I treat money as a her. As if you're a woman, you may have a different perspective. It may feel like more of a him. For men, I generally find they relate to it as a woman. This is just my own experience with it. I invite you to explore and determine the energy of money, does that feel more masculine or feminine? For me, it feels feminine because I provide the structure and it flows to me. It's a very life force energy. So there's a tangible, oh, this is life force. So it's a Shakti energy that is in life. So just an exploration for you in that. So winding back, where we are going is how then can you build that relationship with money? And when people talk to me initially about issues with money or stuff happening, and they're like, money's not here or I don't have money. So, firstly, most people actually aren't putting any energy into their relationship with money. They may be working, they may have a job, they may have these different things, but they're not putting intentional time with money as a whole or a generality. There's no time putting in checking into their finances, getting to know where their money is going. Because most people, especially when we have these tap cards that we can just tap or pay, we actually don't know where money is going. We're just allowing ourselves to use it in any whim or way. So, one of the first things is to actually get clear on where your money is going. Where are you spending your money? What is your monthly and yearly expenses that you need to cover? And if you've never considered this, this may be mind blowing because for I know for the first time I did it, I had no idea where my money was going. It was just like, well, money comes in, money goes out. I wasn't checking where that was going. I had a general idea because I was the one spending the money, but I wasn't aware of the amounts. And it came as quite a shock when I was seeing, oh, how much was I spending at cafes? How much was I spending in different environments that I probably didn't need to be spending and learning how, oh, maybe I don't need to be spending there and I can begin to cut back to build a more healthy relationship with money. So, this is number one, getting to know your current situation and relationship with money. And how I recommend you do this is actually sit down and get to know your budget, your expenses, where your money is going because this is like there's probably going to be some leakages for you. I know when I first did this, there was an awareness of those subscriptions that I no longer needed, payments that weren't necessary. So it was beginning to plug these holes and this leakage within the energetic environment of money. This is something that we need to start with. It's like, oh, we most of us want to create more money and like get more money into our bank accounts, but there's a hole in our bank account and just continues to leak out. So, how first can we fill the holes so that when more money does come in, we can hold on to it? Because holding money is actually a different energetic game and it takes a growth in your nervous system to be able to hold that. And if there's leakage, it can get a very chaotic and trying to hold it all and you're like, oh, money's going out there, it's going out there. Why can't I hold it? Well, there's leakage. And that's what we're looking to solve within this is beginning to see the leakages and then plug it. And so once you've done a budget, I recommend doing like your monthly budget over 3 months to actually get a perspective of what your monthly expenses are, 3 months just for an average, so you can divide it by three, and then beginning to break it down into categories to see, okay, I have this much for rent, this much for food, this much for um, subscriptions, this much for car, fuel, like internet and accessories, power, that sort of thing, that the basic necessities of life, and beginning to see your bare minimum that you need to be creating each month for you to survive. Once you know this, it will actually help anchor this into your nervous system that you know how much you need to provide for yourself. This is important. It's powerful to actually begin to know I need to this amount of money to survive. Because otherwise you're just like, oh, I'm just assuming I need this much or whatever that is. This is the basics of beginning to get to know money. Because once you know the minimum, well, you can begin to make sure you create that. And then any extra, you can begin to put it in different directions. If you have goals, if you have savings you want to create, if there's something you want to buy for yourself, on the other side of that, you can begin to manage your money, which is becoming an asset. So you can actually direct it into different avenues so you can grow it. This is important because if it's all just like, well, I'm just going to spend it all. And this is where I recommend having different bank accounts so you can actually begin to track this. And for me, it just helps begin to have different play amounts I can have, and I know where my basic survival needs are going, as well as other areas to just begin to track this. It's really useful. That's a different conversation. There's books like Barefoot Investor. I've never read that, but I've heard it's really great for that if you're interested in going down how to set that up, different ways. For me, I just do a set amount of what I need for rent, what I need for my like lifestyle, as well as a few different accounts, such as my personal account where it's more play money. I can buy myself gifts, gifts for others, as well as a savings account where I put 10% of my money I create, which is from the book Richest Man in Babylon, which is a really fun strategy because for me, when I've held money or I've accumulated money, it's allowed more money to come to me. And that's felt really good for my nervous system and just allowed a slow growth within that account, which begins to be like, oh, that adds up, 10% adds up quite quickly. And when you begin to see that, it's nice. It's nice. So, this is the first step in building a relationship to money. You begin to get to know it and your current relationship with it. You do have a current relationship with money. You are probably just unconscious of where it is at, and your bank account is the quickest way to begin to know that. So, the second part here is when we're building a relationship with money and we're wanting to better our relationship with money. We need to consider how are we putting energy into that? Because a lot of the time we can be like, oh, I'm not having a good relationship with money. I have money blocks, money limitations. But we're stuck in that. We're not actually considering how are we improving our relationship to money. And this would be the equivalent to someone telling me their relationship isn't going well within their personal life, and then telling me they don't know what to do or they've done everything they can and they haven't considered reading a relationship book. There is a lot of resources out there on money strategies, of money mindset, of money beliefs, all of this. And if we're not actively engaging within that in some form or another, and this episode is actually part of that. If you're not doing that, you should be, because if you're wanting to improve your level of money or increase your relationship to money, well, there needs to be energy put in so you can receive the benefit. If you just have an expectation that it's going to get better and you're not putting in any energy to it, well, that feels like self-entitlement, and you need to consider how you are showing up within your relationship. Because, like I said, it is a relationship and we're looking to build this, we're looking to grow this, we're looking to do something different. And that means showing up for it and getting to know how you can learn more about it. Like some of my favorite books on this are The Richest Man in Babylon, You Are a Badass at Making Money, the T. Harvey Eker one. I think it's called The Millionaire Mind or The Millionaire Mindset. Really great books, and some of the beginners that can help you have an idea of your own belief strategy when it comes in relationship to money and how you can begin to build that. Like The Richest Man in Babylon is just one of my favorites because it has a lot of strategy that are told in a more mythopoetic sense. So you can see ways to grow money through fables and myth and things like that, or through story, which is really, really powerful. And I find a great way to learn. So when you begin doing this, you begin to see how you're viewing your relationship to money. And this is going to begin to diverse into the more unconscious patterns and beliefs that we can have with money, where a lot of the unconscious material we have within ourselves is determining our relationship to money. And so for myself as a man, I found it very hard to receive. And this has been a big journey for me in many areas of my life, but financially, this has been one of them as well. To trust I can be provided for by the world. And when I say provided for, I mean going beyond the belief that I need to work hard and hustle and force myself and do things I don't like to create money. It's like I need to make sure I work hard and flagellate myself so I can make money. That was the conditioning I grew up with because I got told just be a man, man up, get it done. Uh, Money doesn't grow on trees, and you need to work hard to make money. So at this point, by beginning to get to know your own unconscious beliefs around money, this can begin to see how you're playing that out in your world. If you have a belief that you need to work hard to create money, well, you're probably going to be working very hard to make money. And you may not be seeing other opportunities where you could make the same amount of money for less work. This was one of the things that allowed me to grow my business. Was at the start I was working a lot harder, doing a lot more, and in the last 2 years a big point of my journey has been how can I provide as much value, still get clients incredible results, and step away from how much time I'm spending in my business. Because before that, I was spending 12-hour days, 7 days a week. And I was like, I don't want to live that life anymore. And it was a lot of my unconscious beliefs around money, around receivership, around how hard I needed to work to prove that I was good enough to receive money. So take a moment here and pause this video, pause this recording, and actually begin to see, okay, what did you get told about money when you were growing up? What did your parents believe about money when you were growing up? What were your parents' relationship to money growing up? How have your parents affected your current relationship to money? What patterns within your finances, what are they telling you about your relationship with money? And what beliefs do you currently have around money and your relationship to money? So take a moment and actually answer these questions, because these are something that most of us have never considered answering. And we get a lot of our conditioning around money from our parents as well as culture, but our parents are probably someone that's implanted a big belief system around us, and they may have unconscious material that we've carried over into our lifetime. So we need to begin to consider, okay, how is that affecting me? And how can I begin to change this so that I can have a sovereign relationship to money and be choosing it for myself? When we have awareness of how our parents behaved or the unconscious beliefs we may have around money, we can then begin to consciously change it, because awareness is the first piece. And the last question I want to add is, what am I currently believing around money and making money? And this one is important because, like I said, if you believe you need to work hard to be making money, well, that may be sabotaging you from creating other ways to make money and expanding your awareness beyond what you currently know. So this is what we're beginning to consider. How is there other ways you could be making money and expanding your awareness to other ways that they could come in? And so for me, these are some of the key pieces of actually beginning to heal the relationship with money. Now, the last thing I feel like I'm going to share within this episode is actually building a relationship with money directly. And so for me, the quickest way to do this is to actually write a letter to money saying, Dear money, and then expressing your truth to money and just sharing everything that's on your heart towards money. Now, this may be you're angry towards money. It may be like, why aren't you coming to me? Where are you? I want you and you're not here. But actually expressing everything and being transparent in this, because this will help you see what's currently playing out. And just so you know, this is like an intimate relationship. You do have that connection with money. And when you begin to see this, think of this, if this was a relationship, a physical one, and you had this viewpoint or these underlying beliefs towards that person, would that person want to show up for you? Would that person be given to you? Would that person be receiving you? because a lot of the time we're telling money things like, fuck you, why aren't you here? You should be here. Or why don't I feel like going into a victim mentality and money never being here. And so when we begin to speak this directly and be building this relationship of like, oh my God, I've been telling money unconsciously to go fuck itself. Of course, it's not showing up for me because if you were saying that to a friend and you're like, fuck you, fuck off, I don't want you, I don't care about you, and you're saying that to a friend, well, that friend probably isn't going to be around. It's the same with money. And then on the other side of this, writing a money letter from money back to yourself. So writing, say, dear, your name, whatever that is, and then writing from the perspective of money to yourself of anything that money wishes to tell you. And sometimes it may be something profound or an insight. I've had plenty where it's like, Dean, you don't need to work so hard. I've shared that a couple times in this. It's like, oh, I've been working too hard and I can relax. And this can help me see myself through the perspective of money and what's it needing from me to build a healthier relationship. And sometimes it might be like you're on the right track, you're doing everything perfect, you just need to stop stressing about it, and I will come to you. Trust that I will be here when you need. So sometimes it's really insightful and helps change my behavior, and other times it's an affirmation of I am on the right track. And this is really good because what can happen in this process is we can express underlying emotions that may be present within ourselves. So if we have a lot of anger or frustration towards money, there can be that condensed within our energetic field, which can be quite heavy. If I'm saying, fuck you, money, fuck you, there's a lot of energy in the system that can create a hypervigilant state or a sympathetic nervous system, which is a wired nervous system where it's like kind of at capacity, there's a heightened state. And when we have that energy within us, it's very hard to receive. If we think of uh, a water bottle, a plastic one, and it's full of water, it's very hard to put more in. If there's less water in that, less energy within the system, it's easier to put water in. And this is money. Money is an energy. So if our system is overwhelmed or overstimulated, it can be hard to receive money because we are at capacity and we don't have that capacity to receive. So in this process of expressing our truth to money, we may be able to move these deeper currents that are alive for us, which helps clean the energetic system of the body to create more space, which on an energetic level opens us to receiving money. And this is really, really powerful to actually begin to receive money on a really deep level. So these are I feel like that's all I'm going to share in this first episode. I'm probably going to come back here and do a few more things around money. If you want to know more, actually comment below or send me a message at the Dean Bentley on Instagram, and I'll be sharing the answers to those questions in the next episode or the next live or whatever it is. So that really helps me see what you're needing and allowing me to continue to grow and serve. So if you're like, oh my God, this was great, even just let me know to confirm, hey, this is what was needed and helped you build that relationship with money. If you found this useful, please share, rate this podcast, subscribe to this video, like do all the things because this helps grow the channel and gives this information to those that need it because this was something I myself really needed when I was beginning to grow this. And so take a moment to see who could this video support? Send it to them, let them know about this, let them know about the temple community. I'm going live there every week at the moment. This was an element of that. And this will just help propagate this message out so we can build healthy relationships with money in our businesses and within ourselves to live the lives that we're here to live in a settled and grounded way. So let me know how all this landed. Sending you so much love. Peace out.